Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person. And I do have a members-only channel with a lot of perks for members, including weekly live workshops with a different manifesting topic each week, weekly live group coaching, a lot of exclusive content, monthly challenges for a chance to win a free one-on-one coaching session with me, and a lot more. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website or to the membership channel. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a very, very famous teaching by Neville Goddard, who, as you know, this channel follows and gets inspired by. And that teaching is none other than no one to change but self. Neville has famously said that. A lot of people are quoting it. However, it's clear to me that a lot of people are unclear about what that actually means. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to make a video today about this, clarifying what that statement actually meant, what it refers to, how Neville actually used it, what he meant when he used it. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So, no one to change but self. What does that actually mean? And how does it apply to conscious manifesting, especially when it comes to changing other people, or perhaps changing circumstances, changing situations in your life that you're not crazy about, or you don't prefer, or you would prefer that they would develop and unfold in different ways? Why is it that all you need and all you can change at the end of the day is your own self? Indeed, in the manifesting community, there's a lot of confusion, especially when it comes to other people, specific persons, romantic interests especially, and so on. There is an urge of wanting to change the other person. There is an urge of, for example, my SP is not that version, that A, B, C version of them that I would want them to be. How do I change them? How do I make them become that version of themselves? Well, Neville Goddard tells us, and it's actually true, that you are not actually directly changing that other person. What you are changing is your own perception of that person, of the relationship with them, whatever that might be, the situation with them, and so on. And of course, that doesn't only apply to people, it also applies, like I said, to circumstances, situations in your life, experiences, relationships. It applies to anything and everything. Everything depends on your own perception of how things are. And this is because, you guys, of the principle of oneness. Everyone and everything is you pushed out. In other words, everyone and everything reflects back to you a part of your consciousness that you're already accepting as true for you. You're already accepting as part of your reality. So it goes without saying that if you shift that part of your consciousness, the reflections when it comes to that part of your consciousness are also going to change accordingly. And so it's not about changing the other person, changing the circumstance directly, changing the experience directly. It's changing your relationship to that experience, to that situation, to that circumstance, to how you see and how you view that person. This is why you always go back to yourself. It's not that you're going out in the 3D trying to change the other person. It's not even that your affirmations are changing that other person directly. Your affirmations, or whatever other technique you have chosen to employ, convince you that I'm able to see this other person, to see this situation, to see this experience in a new light. You are doing the techniques to convince yourself and to help yourself change your own perception. In other words, your own relationship to the situation. Once that changes, the situation or even the person starts changing as well. Why? Because we are all each other's mirror. Changing our relationship to the world around us also changes how the world around us shows up for us. To give you a very simple example, if you're manifesting an SP and before you became aware of your inner states, you were in a dominant state of being reactive to everything in the 3D, complaining about everything in the 3D, starting fights, being toxic perhaps in your relationship, and so on. And then after you became aware of these teachings, you started changing your inner mental and emotional state, your state of being, to someone who is actually secure, to someone who is actually willing and open to trusting their SP to do the right thing, to love them and to choose them. And you are shifting your energy to an energy that is much more grounded, much more in tune with who you want to be, much more secure. How do you think your SP is going to respond to that? Let me tell you. They're going to respond by showing up in turn as a different version of themselves that is responding to the new version of yourself that you are showing up as. Your previous insecurity was being met perhaps with fights, or perhaps with them breaking up with you, or perhaps with them going no contact or blocking you, or I don't know what. Your new secure version, on the other hand, is now being met with love, with acceptance, with a welcoming spirit, with a willingness perhaps to work things out with you, to start fresh with you. Perhaps all of a sudden they've become more attentive, more affectionate. Why? Because you changed your own self. And so as the mirror of yours that they are responding to that change. So this is what Neville Goddard, you guys, meant when he said, no one to change but self. You cannot remain the old version of you, the reactive version, the insecure version, and still be affirming for your SP to be loving and attentive and committing to you and so on. It's not going to happen because you are not shifting yourself into the version of you that is the recipient of that new version of them that you've been affirming for. Nothing is going to change in your 3D until and unless you start shifting your own self. You start changing your own inner states and how you show up as. So this is the essence and the significance of that teaching. No one to change but self. Nothing changes on its own. Nothing changes just with simple techniques. And there is nothing and no one that you're actually changing directly in the 3D unless and until you change your own self. You change that part of your consciousness that is stopping you and holding you back from being the version of yourself who is already receiving that desire that you have. Once that happens, then the 3D changes very easily, very naturally, you guys. And the change is probably not even going to feel like a surprise for you because you've been living internally in that new state for a while that it's now feeling like second nature to you. It's now feeling natural and normal to you. When this happens, when it feels natural and normal to you, this is when the 3D changes. And this is why Neville said, no one to change but self. Don't worry about other people changing, influencing them to change, controlling their mind to change. This is not going to happen. On the other hand, once you start changing yourself, your inner states, your state of being, this is when everything and everyone else around you shifts and changes and molds and shapes itself and themselves as well in response to your own inner change. So take this teaching and run with it. Take this teaching and apply it in your day-to-day life, in your manifestations, and see for yourself the huge difference it's going to make in your 3D. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.